All right, got to talk about this whole AI and crypto czar thing. Trump just made it official.
Yeah, it seems like everyone's trying to figure out what it all means, right?
Big question, obviously, is who is this David Sachs guy?
Well, pretty interesting background. Back in the day, he was part of the PayPal mafia.
Oh, wait, the what?
The PayPal mafia. All those guys like Elon Musk from the early days at PayPal. So Sachs has been in the tech game for a while.
So not just some random appointee then?
Oh, no, not at all. I
Yeah.
mean, he's a big-time venture capitalist, investing in and even starting companies, some of them in the AI space, too.
So he knows what he's talking about, at least when it comes to tech.
Definitely. And, he even started his own AI-powered company, Glue, a work chat app. Been pretty vocal about, his thoughts on how AI should be developed, too.
And his politics. He had that whole thing where he was critical of Trump, then went all in for him in the 2024 election.
Right. Yeah, quite a shift. He even gave that speech at the Republican National Convention, the one about the world on fire or something. Definitely got people's attention.
So we've got this tech guy, venture capitalist, evolving political views. Now he's landing this totally new role in the White House, like something out of a movie.
I know, right? And this is where it gets really interesting. He's a big advocate for like open AI ecosystems. Thinks internet data should be available for training AI. That's stirred up some debate.
I can see why. More data can mean faster progress, but then you have all the security and ethical questions too.
Exactly. And then there's his stance on like AI and warfare and national security. He's all for it, but that brings up a lot of questions about like oversight and what could go wrong.
So kind of a maverick pushing the limits of AI and wants to use it in some pretty sensitive areas. How's the tech world reacting to all this?
Well, kind of mixed, honestly. Some of those industry leaders, especially the ones who are into his whole open AI thing, seem pretty optimistic. They're talking about collaboration and speeding up progress.
And the others?
Others are worried. Nick Mardo, for example, has brought up the whole conflict of interest thing with Sachs's investments and all.
Yeah, that's the big elephant in the room, isn't it? He's going into this role with investments in the very industries he's supposed to be overseeing.
It is, and this whole czar thing being part-time, no need to divest, it just makes it messier. I mean, it makes you wonder if his personal interests might, influence policy decisions. Suresh Venkata even talked about potential biases and stuff.
So a lot of hope for innovation, sure, but also a lot of healthy skepticism about like transparency and whether things will really be fair.
Exactly. It's a real balancing act. I guess we'll just have to see how it plays out. One thing's for sure, though, David Sachs, he's not afraid to shake things up. And this whole appointment, it's bound to have a big impact on the future of AI, one way or another.
Yeah, got to talk about crypto too, right?
Oh, right. He's very pro-crypto, wants less regulation, which a lot of people in the crypto community like.
Yeah, I can see why they'd be happy.
He really believes in the whole decentralized finance thing. Put a lot of his own money into crypto projects, Solana in particular, which
Crypto in the U.S. with him in charge. Less regulation could mean a ton of innovation, but then you also worry about the risks.
definitely a trade-off, fostering innovation versus protecting people. And then you got Trump himself, wants to take credit for all the crypto successes, so there's the whole political side of things, too.
So we got a tech investor, likes to disrupt things, a president eager to take credit, and an industry that's still figuring out its place in the world. Definitely a story we'll be keeping an eye on.
Absolutely. Lots of implications here, and we've only just begun to explore them. But this whole thing raises a really important question. How much power will he actually have in this, czar role?
Good question. Let's dig into that next. I mean, it's weird, right? Part-time, no staff, no budget, no real authority. Like, what can he actually do?
Yeah, it's not like he's walking in with all the power in the world. It's more like his influence is going to come from, who he knows, his experience, and being close to the president.
So less about giving orders and more about working that whole Washington Silicon Valley network.
Yeah, exactly. Using his connections, being persuasive, shaping things behind the scenes. And don't forget, he's not the only tech guy with the president's ear.
Right. You've got Mark Andreessen, another big VC, wants to see AI development go full speed ahead. Doesn't seem too worried about the risks.
And then there's Elon Musk warning about the dangers while also pushing the limits with his own AI companies. It's like a Silicon Valley reality show playing out at the White House.
It is. All these big personalities, different ideas, competing interests. It's going to be interesting to see how Sachs fits into all of that.
Definitely. And remember, it's not just about U.S. politics either. This whole AI thing, it's global.
It's like that AI arms race everyone's talking about. China, Russia, everyone's pouring money into AI research.
Exactly. So this whole czar thing, it's partly about the U.S. trying to stay ahead, you know?
So it's not just about what happens here in the U.S. It's about global competition, national security, and how AI is going to change the balance of power in the world.
And that's why it's so important to really understand what's going on. You got to look past the hype and all the headlines and get into the real issues around AI and crypto.
And speaking of hype, the crypto world seems pretty excited about Sachs.
They are. He's seen as someone who understands them, supports their ideas, especially about less regulation.
Makes sense.
Eh.
They're probably hoping he can make things easier for crypto compared to how it was under Biden.
Yeah, that stricter approach from the SEC, that's probably over. Now it's more about, letting crypto innovate, which they love.
But not everyone's happy, right? Didn't Suresh Venkatesubramanian, he was an AI advisor in the Biden White House, didn't he raise some concerns?
He did. He's worried about, a lack of oversight with this new role and the potential for conflicts of interest.
Yeah, that keeps coming up. It's hard to ignore, especially when someone has so much of their own money tied up in the industries they're supposed to be regulating.
It does make you wonder whose interests are really being put first. And it just highlights how important transparency and accountability are, especially now with all this tech influencing policy.
Right, these decisions being made about AI and crypto, they're going to have a huge impact on everyone. And we need to make sure those decisions are for the benefit of everyone, not just a select few.
And that's where you, the listener, come in. It's so important to stay informed, be part of the conversation, and demand that those in power are transparent and accountable. The future of AI and crypto, it's being shaped right now, and we all have a say in it.
Okay, so we've talked a lot about the big picture, the politics, the global implications. What about the average person? How's all of this going to affect them? How might Sachs' appointment change the way people actually use AI and crypto?
That's the key question, right? We can talk about all the political stuff, but ultimately it's about how these technologies are going to impact people's lives.
I mean, AI is already changing things, jobs, how we get information, how we talk to each other. And crypto, with that whole decentralized finance thing, it could totally shake up the banking system.
Exactly. And the decisions made by people like Sachs, they're going to determine how these technologies develop and how they affect us. Will they give us more power, or will they just make the rich and powerful even richer?
That's what we're going to be exploring throughout this whole deep dive.
Right.
But one thing's for sure, the future's being written right now, and we all have a part to play in shaping it. This is a big move, that's for sure, appointing Sachs as, like, the AI and cryptos are. But it feels risky, too.
Definitely. Got to be careful with all this. We can't just assume it'll be good for everyone.
Exactly. We need to look past the hype and think about, what could go wrong. So let's be a little pessimistic for a minute. What are the biggest worries? What could go wrong?
Well, that conflict of interest thing keeps coming up. He's got all that money in AI and crypto. It's hard to believe it won't affect his decisions, even if he doesn't realize it.
Yeah, it's like putting the fox in charge of the hen house. And the fact that it's part-time, no need to sell his investments, it just makes it worse.
Totally. It just looks bad, even if he's technically doing everything right. And let's face it, Washington isn't exactly known for, being ethical.
Okay, so there's that whole ethical mess. But what about actually getting things done? He's got these big ideas, but not a lot of real power. Can he actually pull it off?
That's the question, isn't it? He's not exactly stepping into a position with tons of authority. He's going to have to rely on convincing people, negotiating, and getting everyone on the same page.
And he's not the only one with influence, right? There's Andreessen, Musk. They all have their own agendas. It could turn into a power struggle.
Oh, absolutely. And then there's the whole political situation. Crypto is still kind of shady to a lot of politicians and regulators. Getting that light touch regulation he wants, that's going to be tough.
So yeah, lots of challenges, lots of ways this could go wrong. But let's switch gears again. What about the good stuff? What's the best case scenario here?
Well, if he can handle the ethical stuff and use his influence the right way, he could really unleash a wave of innovation in both AI and crypto.
The U.S. could become the world leader in all this new tech, bringing in investment, creating jobs, pushing the limits of what's possible.
Right. And for crypto, if the regulations are more relaxed, more people could start using it, making it easier and more accessible for everyone.
So there's potential for everyone to win. But it all depends on doing things the right way, being transparent and making sure it benefits everyone, not just a few people.
Exactly. And that's where you, the listener, come in. Got to stay informed, ask tough questions, hold those in power accountable. The future of AI and crypto, it's being written right now, and we all have a role to play.